Oh, all right. So we are live. A little bit of an issue here. Guys, welcome to Training the AM. We have two MVPs in the city, Jalen Hurts and not Bryce Harper, but Kyle Schwarber. That is the other MVP in this city right now, not Joel Embiid, Kyle Schwarber. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk Eagles. We're going to talk a lot of different things today. Maybe a special guest joining us in just a little bit. Trending in the AM. We are live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, basically just on YouTube today because it looks like Twitter is having some technical difficulties on connecting to, so hopefully you're watching here on the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Please do me that favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, and please subscribe. The only free things you'll do today is like, share, and subscribe. Literally, that's it. Nothing else will cost. Everything else will cost you money. This will not. So please do it, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and we got lots to talk about. Today will be the Tush Push vote, the Tush Push ban. So the Tush Push talk will continue. The Nick Sirianni, we tried to talk yesterday. We got sidetracked, and we did not get enough into the Nick Sirianni extension. And you know, listening to all the players talk yesterday, you just really hear how much this team loves playing for Nick Sirianni. We're going to talk about that as well. Eagles players are eligible to play in the Olympics, but do you want them to? A.J. Brown has already come out yesterday and said he will not play in the 2028 Olympics if he is asked to. So that's on the agenda as well. And, of course, the Phillies won last night 7-4. I got that at 17 wins in their last 22 games. They are playing fantastic baseball at this moment, which is great. There's still question marks, of course. But we have an MVP on this baseball team, and his name is not Bryce Harper. His name is Kyle Schwarber. And, you know, we're going to talk about that as well. Real quick, some quick comments right off the bat. Good morning, Adam. How are you? Signed Schwarber to a contract. He is the MVP, and I'm going to come right back to that in a second. Good morning, Duck. Ruiz did not look good last night. Yeah, I was asleep by the time Ruiz came in. But, yeah, back to this comment. Signed Schwarber to a contract right now. Like, let's be honest. Like, we talked about this a few weeks ago and what you do with Kyle Schwarber and Kyle Schwarber's contract. And, all right, finally, got the Twitter working now. I saw some information. It was a stat on Kyle Schwarber yesterday. And it's kind of funny because when I saw the Kyle Schwarber stat, attached to it was his age. And attached to it comparing to Bryce Harper's stats and his age. And for some reason, I know both their ages, but when you see it side by side, it doesn't feel like Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper are the same age. It feels like Kyle Schwarber's a much older player. He's a more mature player, I guess. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And I was against giving Schwarber a contract extension because of his age. But when you think about it, he's the same age as Bryce Harper. Why wouldn't you? I mean, he's legitimately 17 home runs after last night. He's up to 37 RBIs. He's hitting almost 260. He's got almost a 400 on-base percentage and almost a 600 slugging percentage. The guy, Kyle Schwarber, is legitimately having an MVP season. And I've already predicted that Jalen Hurts is going to have an MVP season this year. He's my breakout star of the Eagles. I know it sounds funny saying Jalen Hurts is going to break out, but I think he's going to break out in the statistical categories this year and put him in that MVP conversation. We keep talking about how we won the Super Bowl. Now we're going to win the World Series, and then maybe the Super Bowl again after that. We might go back-to-back in the MVPs, baseball and football. It's really crazy when you look at the season that Kyle Schwarber, and Kyle Schwarber couldn't be anywhere but the leadoff spot for a couple years now. You put him in the fourth spot, and he's having his best season ever. It's kind of crazy. Should have signed Schwarber in the offseason. Going to cost. It's good. The cost of signing Kyle Schwarber is going through the roof right now, Big Al. Big time through the roof, and it's kind of crazy. Really crazy to see. I still think I deserve some MVP nominations and MVP votes. The flu game yesterday has turned into, a best of 7 series between the bug that I'm carrying right now and me pushing through it. So right now we're tied 1-1. This is the pivotal game 3 of the best of 7 series with this cold I got. So, I'm just trying to push through. So I think I deserve some MVP nominations as well. MVP voting as well. But anyway, that's a side story. So anyway, what's Kyle Schwarber's contract going to be like? How much is too much? At what point do you cut it off? I mean, he is literally his entire 3.5 years in Philadelphia here. He's hit more almost as many home runs in 3.5 years here in Philadelphia that he did in his entire career with the Cubs and the Red Sox, etc., which was 7 years long. Kyle Schwarber's been the most consistent guy on this team for a very long time. So the question is, does it matter what his cost is? Do you got to keep Kyle Schwarber at any cost, even if it means trading other players at some point to clear up the money to pay him? I mean, Kyle Schwarber is hands down the best player on this baseball team. Schwarber's been hot since the start of last season. Whatever the figured out, he is locked in. He's been locked in for a very, very long time. Most Phlegm. Yeah, basically. Phil, what do the Phillies do about the bullpen? The Booch is loose. What's up, Booch? You go make some trades. And you go make those trades right now. You go out and get David Robertson if he wants to come back to Philly. You make moves now. This Phillies team is a very good team. They're beating the bad teams that are in front of them. I get that. But you go out there and you go get bullpen help right now. I don't know if I'm so totally sold on Jordan Romano's resurgence here over the last 2-3 weeks. Guys like, Lazar last night, Ruiz, Banks, those guys, I don't know how I feel about them. You go out and get yourself 2 arms right now. Let it play out, and then consider a 3rd arm at the deadline. I think also what you do with the bullpen determines on what you're going to do with the starting rotation. Whether Ranger Suarez is going to stay in it or not, whether Taijuan Walker is going to be needed to pitch, when is Aaron Nola going to come back? All those things I think matter in the equation. But you go get 2 arms right now, and the obvious answer is David Robertson. What's up? Josh Allen's wasted career. How you doing, my man? I think the David Robertson is the easiest now move. It is. But David Robertson has not been pitching yet. So even if you go out and sign David Robertson, it's going to be a couple weeks at a minimum till you would see him in the big club. He would need some time to get his arm ready for Major League hitting. I'm sure he's working on the side somewhere getting ready, but you'd still need a couple weeks in the minors for that. So keep that in mind as well. Today is the day my gentleman football game integrity get restored, because you're saying the tush push is going to get banned right now. It is going to get banned today. I am 97.713% sure that the tush push will officially be banned today. And it's the dumbest thing that's happening in the history of sports. But you know what? I've come to grips with it. I've come to accept that rule change is going to happen. Would you say Schwarber is the team leader now? I mean, I always thought that Kyle Schwarber was the team leader, Adam. Was he his style of leadership needed a yang, his yin to somebody else's yang. I think he's like the Darren Dalton type leader. You still need the Lenny Dykstra, John Kruk leader to really put it all together. That's kind of what you're missing at this point. Otto Kemp can help get an arm or two in a trade. Absolutely, he can. Absolutely. Most analysts say it is unlikely to get banned. Right now, it's about 50-50 on the vote from the last time. So they need to sway about 8 team owners. I think they're going to get it. Steven, Norm! Morning, Norm. It would be nice to have Schwarber signed to a deal during the All-Star break. He's going to be one. How are you going to negotiate with him during the All-Star break? Because he's going to be in the All-Star game. Who are the All-Stars on the Phillies right now? Kyle Schwarber, Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, maybe. He's going to be one. So what better way to announce it than on the stage like that? Gotcha. They need 24 votes to get it turned over. Yes. And they said they had about 16 confirmed. Timberwolves erect? Yes, Timberwolves wrecked. Yes, Dutch, Kruk, and Dykstra, the holy trinity of machismo. You had different styles of leadership. Defo. And that's the thing. You had the Darren Dalton pull you aside leader. The quiet lead, not quiet leader, the fatherly leader. That's Kyle Schwarber. Kruk might be the kind of Bryce Harper leader. Dykstra's the I'm going to punch you in the face leader. Who's that guy on this current Phillies team? Phil, go over proposed new division and playoffs. That's something I'm not sure whether it'll pass today or not, the proposed reseeding. Originally, they wanted it reseeded immediately, just basically do away with the divisions. I think that takes away the division rivalries by doing that. Now they are talking about reseeding after the first round of the playoffs to guarantee every division winner a home game in the first round. I don't know how much push this is going to get from teams to happen. Because, again, it's going to do away with some of the rivalries in sport. That's the key thing there. That is a vote. While they're going to continue to vote and push and make changes to kickoff rules, while they're going to probably do their best to ban the tush push today, the reseeding of the playoffs, I don't know if it's going to happen. A change like that normally takes 1 or 2 off seasons to discuss the literature, to get it the right way that everybody can agree to it. I don't think it happens today, but I think at some point it might happen. Yeah, the entire NFC South would vote against it for sure. 100%. I do think that the reseeding of the playoffs in the short term could 100% help the Eagles because they're going to be doing battle with the Washington Commanders for years now. For NFC, it's going to be Eagles, Commanders for NFC East supremacy. So in theory, that vote going through could help the Eagles, but I don't think it does. We have the all-man mom, that's not fair award for bragging rights for the rest of our lives if they voted out. I love the way you say that, Peanut. Oh, Mom, that's not fair. That's the participation trophy hour right there. We will be tearing our grandkids about how we dominated so bad it got banned. We will. I love the way you phrase that. Norm! I didn't know this till yesterday that George Wendt is Jason Sudeikis' uncle and godfather. Had no clue. I want to give a Cheers story here. You know, I was young during the Cheers heyday, but I watched it still a little bit. Watched it all on replay. As a lifetime restaurant worker, I've got my pizza shop for the last 17 years, but I've been in the restaurant business for 30 years. I've worked in several bars. And every bar has a Norm. And every bar, the scene in one of the episodes where Norm comes into the bar and he goes to sit in a seat and a non-regular was sitting in his seat and he just threw a hissy fit about it in a very comical way, obviously, because that's his seat and he was there yesterday and the day before and whatnot. Every bar has a guy like that. I remember one guy, Frank, had one seat at Applebee's when I was managing at Applebee's. He had to sit the second seat to the end of the right side of the bar, always. And he had to get his before he even sat down, Miller Lite, in his spot. Every bar has a Norm. And that scene to me resonates so much because I've seen it happen so many times. Each game means less and less like other sports. I find myself doing other stuff as they keep increasing playoff teams. Yeah, that's a very fair statement. Norm. Woody. So you had to go from Norm to Woody. Why would you do that? This day is about Norm. Cheers had great OG vibes. I've been to the Norm bar or the Cheers bar before. George went. You're going somewhere that they know your actual name. Yeah. What does God say when George gets to the big pearly gates up there when he got there yesterday, and the gates swing open, and God is right there? Does God say, "Welcome home, George," or does He say, "Norm"? And if God doesn't say Norm, then I think God missed out on the opportunity to make a good joke. It's a real bar. Cheers. Yes, it's in Boston. It's a real bar. I don't know if it's still open or not, but it's a real bar. Been to Boston a few times. It's a great city. I would love to go back to Boston now in my older days. Go see a Phillies Red Sox game up there someday. Yes, St. Peter just forewent the Pearly Gate entrance interview and said, Norm! Yes. Beer is nectar of heaven. Maybe. I mean, then send me there right now. Me and my wife visited the actual bar many moons ago. Yeah, it was many. I was a young stallion when I was there last. So, yeah. I'd like to go as a grown adult, if it's still even there at this point. But yeah. Anyway, let's honor Norm. I wish I could have a beer at this time of the morning. I can't, but it's a little early for beer. Plus, again, I'm still battling through. This is only game 3 of a best-of-7 series with me and the flu bug. So you think they should add more teams to the NFL playoffs? No, they should not add more teams to the NFL playoffs. I think they had it perfect with 6 teams. I got used to baseball when they added more playoff teams. I still think it's too much. I hate the NBA play-in, adding the 9th and 10th seed, the play-in series. I get why they do it. But I got used to it in baseball. I'm barely used to it in basketball. I don't like it in basketball. Football, I have not gotten used to the 7th team in each conference getting in. I still think 6 teams in each conference was perfect. I think that was perfectly fine there. The Bears. You spelled it wrong. It's D-A Bears. If you need a beer for Norm, there's a reason for trending in the PM. I wish. I'm trying not to drink for a few days with the cold. Or I would be doing a trending in the PM tonight just to have a beer for Norm. But, it is what it is. I mean, I kind of feel like I need to go drop a unit on the Bears winning the Super Bowl this year. First, the new Pope of the Catholic Church is a Bears fan from Chicago. My kind of town. Then Norm passes away. Like everything's lining up. If they actually had a real decent quarterback, I'd probably drop that dime on the Bears winning the Super Bowl. Can't do that because they don't have a quarterback. The Cheers bar is open every day but Monday 11 to 2. It is still open. All right. I mean, it's been a couple decades since I've been up to Boston, so wouldn't know. But yeah, look at that. We'll have to do a trending in the AM live from Cheers one day, right? Is that 11 a.m. Maybe I get them to open up at 8 a.m. one day for a live when the Phillies play the Red Sox in the World Series one day, right? Is that the way it's got to work? Anyway, let's get back to the Phillies. Let's get back to the Eagles. We have 2 MVPs in this city. Joel Embiid and Bryce Harper are not either of them. It's Jalen Hurts and it's Kyle Schwarber. Real quick on Bryce Harper. What is it with weird superstitious shit working out in Philadelphia? First, we got the standing ovation for Trey Turner working, right? We've got Nick Sirianni shaving his head and it working. Now Bryce Harper shaves his head. And all of a sudden he's hitting 400 since he shaved his head. Why? There's so many weird-ass, stupid things turn players and coaches and teams and organizations around and seasons around. Like, at what point does that just get weird? Like, I hated all the standing ovations. I hated it. but it worked. I don't know why, but it did. It worked so well, the standing ovation, they made a mini documentary on it. Nick Sirianni shaves his head, and he goes from 94.321, fan percentage of the fan base wanting him out of town to winning a Super Bowl, getting a massive contract extension. Now, Bryce Harper, who we were questioning his drop-off this year, shaves his head, and all of a sudden, the dude's hitting baseballs all over the field. It's the craziest thing in the world to me. You're for the road trip? All right. A road trip there would take a lot of planning. Nick Castellanos probably will hit a home run tonight. Yeah. Harper looked decent yesterday. The Phillies are playing the small ball so well last night. Yeah, 8:40 is not too late for me to stay up to watch a baseball game, but with this cold, I made it through 3 innings last night. I think it was like 9:30, 9:45, and the TV was off last night. But Bryce Harper was 3 for 5 last night, 2 RBIs. He's up to 30 RBIs now. He's got his average back over 270. He's back over an 800 OPS at this point. Harper's turning things around. But it all started when he shaved his head. And I don't get it. I shaved my head and nothing happened. I did it like 30 years ago, but 40 years now. I think I've been having this kind of haircut since I was like in 3rd grade at Holy Cross. I think Miss Sabo was my teacher when I shaved my head for the first time. That was for Big Al, that reference right there. The guitar singing Miss Sabo. If Big Al's still watching. Because Norm passed away, Nicky C home run. Anything really, we thought Nicky C was going to homer when the Pope got elected. That didn't happen. So I think that one kind of ran its course right there, Adam. So I'm not sure about that or not. Normally with that lead, I would have called in the 5th or 6th, but I watched the whole game yesterday. Yeah, look, again, you had the Nick Sirianni, you had the Jordan flu game, you had the Pete Sampras flu match against, I think it was Agassi at the U.S. Open, and you got me battling the flu live on the STT Sports Network all week. Something's got to get pushed aside. And I'm going to do the one thing I hate to do and break down a game based off of a box score, not by watching much of it. So, kind of sucks that I can't really break it down based off of what I actually saw. You think Nick Sirianni and Harper went to the same barber? They probably just did it in the locker room with their clippers from the dollar store that they bought. Harper shaved his head. Marsh hitting better since injury. Bowman hitting better. Give me hope for Nola. Look, everybody's turning around. Maybe Nola. Maybe Aaron Nola shaved his head. Maybe he would turn his season around. I still fully believe that Aaron Nola is not got a hurt ankle, that Aaron Nola is just going on a phantom injured list stint here to get his mind right, to rest his arm. He's going to go have 2 games down in double or triple A, get his confidence back, and then he'll be back in a month. What is today? 5/21. It was about a week ago. Last weekend he went on the injured list. So we'll say by June 20th, Aaron Nola will be back in the starting line or starting rotation. He'll be doing just fine. Cut Walker and bring Mick back up. Why would we cut Taijuan Walker, Anthony? Taijuan Walker is pitching phenomenally. Taijuan Walker is having one of the greatest resurgence in Philadelphia, sports history right now. Now, it might not last all season, but why would you cut a guy who's one of your best bullpen arms, one of your best starters? Remember the cardboard cutout of Kevin Costner from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? Yes, I do. I just remember my biggest memory of her is just walking around with her acoustic guitar, playing that thing in church every single mass. Oh, man. What was the other 3rd grade teacher? Miss Mackle something? Can't remember her name. I think Abel should have stayed up here to pinch since Nola's out. Yeah, in theory, I get why everybody's upset. But they said it from the get-go that no matter what, no matter how he did on Sunday, it was going to be a one thing because Taijuan Walker was there. And Taijuan Walker should have been in the rotation anyway. So, they're just sticking to their thing. Now, if Taijuan Walker comes out tonight and stinks, maybe Maybe they bring him back up. Maybe they give him another shot. I truly think Mick Abel, it will be traded over the next 4 weeks. And Sunday was just as much of a showcase for the Pirates even. I don't know if the Pirates have any relievers that we want as anything else. When Nolan gets back, he too will have a short haircut. You would think so. Miss Dashu, she was second grade was when I was there. Because my best friend, her son was my friend, and we couldn't be in her class for that reason. All right, guys, joining me on the I Have No Sponsor hotline right now. Before we do it, like, share, subscribe. That's what we got to do every day. And joining me on the I Have No Sponsor hotline right now, the great John Barchard. This has been a game of cat and mouse, but he is here now finally.
I finally caught that damn mouse. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
I mean, you're a radio professional, radio veteran, and you don't know if we can hear you or not?
Well, it's StreamYard. It's not me. This is a complaint to StreamYard. Like, why isn't there a monitoring system before it come in? But more importantly, Phil, what are you guys doing? You're doing the same goddamn thing that you always do every summer. You're buying into this Phillies team again. It's you're all of this. Oh, I hope that these minor league kids that have been down in the dumps for 4 years and we haven't had any use for them, and now suddenly that's going to make the team better and really round out that corner. It's going to make you ignore that Bryce Harper's in the worst slump of his career and slowly coming up. He's using Nick Sirianni's tactics and. It's not going to work, man. You're putting lipstick on a pig, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying your summer, but we all know what's going to happen. We're going to be right back here in August wanting Saquon, Jalen, and we want to talk shit about the Packers, and I'm glad you guys have your summers, but we know what's going on here. We know what's going on here.
No, I am not. I am so far. I'm called the biggest negative Phillies fan out there. People tell me, why do you even watch the Phillies? Because I hate on Rob Thompson so much. I got blasted yesterday because I was crushing him for benching Bryson Stott again. I know. And this means nothing what's happening right now. It all matters what happens in October. That is completely it. That is all that matters.
Yes.
But we do have two MVPs in this city, Jalen Hurts and Kyle Schwarber, not anybody else.
Kyle Schwarber, former Chicago Cub, former Boston Red Sox. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely
Chicago
you
Cubs,
do.
There's another connection because this show is being dedicated to Norm. You know, George Wendt, who passed away yesterday. I don't know about you, but I was a big Cheers fan growing up, you know. Loved that show. And, I mean, if I had, you're a football guy. I know most of your work is football and Eagles related. How can you not lay a bet on the Bears winning the Super Bowl? You have Norm passes away. The Pope is from Chicago. Kyle Schwarber played in Chicago and is going to win the baseball MVP. Like, everything's pointing except for the fact that they have a terrible quarterback.
Oh man, I don't know if you read that ESPN article, but like you know, I would bet that they win the NFC North. I won't go say the Super Bowl, but the NFC North is probably theirs, and that's going to make everybody in Detroit really mad. Also, George Wendt is the man. I went and saw him do 12 Angry Men at a theater in LA, and he was like one of the best parts about the show, and I got to share a beer with Norm. That's like one of my life things. I told my wife that this morning because I got a little teary-eyed. I was like, not George. I was like, fuck, man. So
I asked the question at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you saw it. When he got up to the pearly gates yesterday and St. Peter opened the gates, did St. Peter say, welcome to heaven, George? Or did he say, Norm? Like,
Yeah.
He had to say Norm, right?
The bar stool is right there for him, and it's whatever he wants. Yeah, exactly. No,
absolutely. I think it's lining up. I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I think Caleb Williams was,
what he crazy. Is. You're anyway, nuts. That's Jalen. That is Jalen Hurts over there. That's all. That's
no, because Caleb Williams doesn't have this right here.
Oh my God, he went 20 touchdowns. I can't even believe you're making me defend the fucking Bears right now.
Yeah,
Sorry for swearing all the time.
Absolutely.
I feel disgusting. But like that kid went 20-7 with no offensive coordinator, nothing, calling his own plays, and like everybody says, everybody watches the film solo as a quarterback, and that's true. But I don't know. It just reminds me of 2023, the Matt Patricia stuff that we went through, and that stuff didn't end up mattering. So.
Hey, so we all, as content creators, we all pick a flag to put in the ground. I've put the flag since the draft last year that Caleb Williams stinks, and I'm just going to ride it till I'm proven wrong. And
hey,
maybe
Desmond Ridder still needs a place. He just needs a chance, baby. That's where I'm at.
Don't make me laugh. I've been battling the flu. Jordan had his flu game. I have my flu week on the show here this week, so right. I'm pushing through. So you make me laugh. I might spit up all over this laptop setup here I got going on. So, let's get to the Eagles. Let's talk about the Eagles real quick here while we got you on. Obviously, today is the dumbest day in the history of football. Today is the day that they're going to, in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt, ban a play. That shouldn't be banned because we're just unstoppable at it. Give me something different on the tush push why it should or shouldn't be banned.
It's great that they're going to ban it this way because they're going to get egg on their face. I'm with everybody else. Like, if you're going to just now remove the pushing rule or the tugging rule of the runner, then you're going to screw a ton of teams on trying to get rid of this one play that this one team runs perfectly. I think when I heard Jordan Mailata say some stuff yesterday, I'm kind of there too. I'm sick of the debate. We know this is bullshit. It's coming from the Packers. And just for my vote, I'd rather ban Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay from ever being a part of a committee because they're whiners, and they get beat by these football dumbasses like Doug Peterson, and they can't, that's what I'm saying. They think they're too smart. And they just well, I would be smart enough to come up with something to stop this, and they can't, and they don't want to dedicate the resources to it, so that's where I'm at. But yeah, this is going to screw over all of those bubble screens, all of those tunnel screens, all of those, did we do rub routes or did we not? It's just going to create a bunch of chaos, a lot of flags, a lot more running backs that are lowering their crowns and all that stuff. I think you're going to see more flags from a result of doing this, because I don't know if you remember this, when this rule got instituted, it was right around the time of the Reggie Bush USC game, Notre Dame. And I don't know if you remember that, but I'm still pissed because they cost me money about that push. And
what a degenerate you are.
I'm not even that much of a degenerate. It was one of the best just times I was no, Notre Dame's going to win. To me, this makes football more entertaining. No, forget the tush push for a second. The push and pull of the runner makes football more entertaining. They're trying to take that part away. I think it's stupid.
Is it more entertaining to us because it's successful? And I hear a lot of people saying if it wasn't the Eagles fans would want it banned too. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, we would be pissed that Nick Sirianni's not working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be guys, we have the best offensive line, and Jordan Mailata can go, shove his tush into there. That's what we'd be saying.
I think that the funnest part of this getting banned, and real quick, you do agree it will get banned today, right?
I tell you what, I'm not being a contrarian. I don't buy what Ian Rappaport is saying.
Okay.
I did the math this summer, when it came up, or this spring when it came up. You still got to get to 24 teams. I was able to get to 20. Who's got a vendetta against the Eagles? Who would flip and say, yeah, fuck them? I only got to 20. And you're going to have to convince 4 or 5 people that the Eagles deal with all of the time in terms of trades, transactions, and you're going to have to, are you willing to, if you're the New Orleans Saints, for instance, are you willing to piss off the Eagles and vote on this for getting out of your cap hell almost every single year, which they have done for you for the past 10 years? Are you going to do that? Miami, who also kind of has that same relationship, New York, I think there are so many ties, and Howie Roseman's been so good with the deals that they screwed them on the draft. We're hey, dude, we're not going to deal with you now, but we understand that we're going to need you. It's an inevitable. Somebody will always need Howie Roseman. So I don't think it gets passed today. How about that?
Okay. I like it. I actually want it passed for all the things you said before, but also because I've been asking for a couple things for the last 5 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. I want Jordan Mailata running the football on short yardage. And now with Ty Robinson and Ben Van Summeren on this team, I want Saquon Barkley getting the ball with Ty Robinson and Ben Van Summeren blocking for him in some kind of old school. What do they call it? Yesterday, someone was saying the Delaware T. There's some play from back in the day. I don't even know what it was.
Tea? Oh my
I don't even know what it was. I didn't even have time to look it up. The Delaware Wing T is what they called it.
Oh, okay.
I got it down here.
Honestly, that's what I see too. I just don't see Saquon on the field. I see Jalen Hurts in the middle of a death triangle where you got Mailata, you got Robinson, and then you got
Davis back there too.
Yeah, absolutely. You just
that'll get banned. My problem, and I really truly think it's so much comedy in this argument, but I also feel very serious about it. At what point, if you ban this play, it sets a precedent. doesn't it? In all the sports. I mean, it happened in baseball, banning the shift. Next, you're going to ban the bunt because it's not aesthetically pleasing. You know, you're not going to be able to play zone coverage someday in the NBA. Like, at what point does it just become flag football? At what point does every unstoppable play just get banned?
I would keep. Here's what I would do if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles. One, on what you just described, I would just piss everybody off with this next version of whatever they come up with the QB sneak. Like, if you do kind of what we just said, and instead just like, you know what, we're just going to make, you remember that Jim Harbaugh I formation that just went back 12 players deep? That's what I would do every single time.
Absolutely.
Every time I would just be like, you know what, maybe you'll see essentially like 11 guys on or 10 guys on the line and Jalen Hurts snapping or whatever they come up with creatively, but I would just keep doing that. Just pound 7,000 pounds of meat right into their skinny defensive lines and force them to say we quit, you know?
You just talked about pounding meat, and you know my chat is a little ornery normally in the morning, so I expect some comments to come out about that. Look, you said it. I'm sure Nick Sirianni's already got a plan in place if this does get banned today. That brings up Nick Sirianni. And has there been a resurrection of somebody's image in this city quite like Nick Sirianni over the last 12 months? Maybe last 4 years, because we go back to his first introductory press conference, everybody was hating on the guy. Now the guy is a Super Bowl champion. He could do no wrong. He's one of the most beloved figures in this city. I mean, that's quite the turnaround right there from Nick Sirianni.
You know what was my first thought? It was just like, Nick Sirianni never experienced a dream team. And like, you know what I mean? So I kind of still think Andy got the most crap. And in terms of like turnaround, I think he was one of those first guys to like, all right, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. Right. And I think Nick has gone through waves of that. But to me, this is just pretty typical Eagles fan behavior. Wouldn't you agree? Like, there are, and I thought every gripe was pretty righteous. Probably up until last season when we're all bitching about, you know, whatever that was, week 4 or 5 against the Bucks. That's right. Yeah. So, in a way, I want to say I'm with you on that, but in the same way, I mean, he hasn't changed, you know, and that was another thing kind of going into last season where I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think he's Dick Vermeil just for this age. You know, Dick Vermeil was able to run an offense, so that's why they're much different than one another in terms of that schematically. But in terms of emotion, they're practically the same.
I like that. I mean, Dick Vermeil's Eagles coaching was a little before my knowing what was going on, and you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't really know what was going on, but I know the history.
But just look at the Rams. Just look at the Rams.
I get that. I think that's a very, very fair comparison there. The emotion, and it's crazy because you would think that kind of emotion and personality might not translate with professional athletes. Like Nick Sirianni, if you just look at him like in a vacuum and how he acts and coaches and what, it's got college coach written all over it, doesn't it?
In a way, but look at what college coaches are now. Look at Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
You know what I'm saying? That's not this.
Hey, congratulations. Bill Belichick got engaged, I heard last night on social media to his girlfriend.
God.
So good for him, right?
What a mess. We can get into that anytime, but like so I guess that's what I'm trying to say too, is just we have this idea of what a football locker room is. They need an emotional father figure to put their head down and be like, I fucked up, man. How do I get better? Yeah. Because if anyone has told us that out loud, it was Brandon Brooks years ago. Like, oh wow, they are really dealing with a lot. And as each generation becomes more comfortable with mental health, you know, like he is that CEO that is making sure they're performing at their highest. And honestly, businesses and companies should be doing that too. Like if there is a CEO that is strictly in charge of your happiness, fucking A, you know, and that usually doesn't happen. So I think they're doing this the right way, and they're using not only just that side, but you have to admit that Nick's a good teacher and motivator. You have to, you know, and I think he's got great ideas on how to run offenses, but he's not accurate with them, and that's why he needs that offensive coordinator, which is great. Dude, this whole thing with the new I forgot his name. Who's our new QB coach?
Kevin Patullo is the new. Kevin Patullo is the OC now.
Is the OC, but the guy from Grambling.
I can't think of his name either. But
But that to me is like where the Eagles are heading in terms of ideas is exactly right. You should be doing the opposite of what North Carolina is doing right now. Let's pull these college coaches out here. Dude, all of my Chip Kelly takes from 12 years ago are going to be right again. It's time, baby. It is time.
You know what? Honestly, that's a great time. Nobody's making enough of a big deal about Chip Kelly's return to Philadelphia. Like, everybody's got this game circled or that game circled. I got the Chip Kelly return circled. I can't wait for the Chip Kelly coming back because I want to see what he does. And hold on, who did they draft? The Raiders.
Ashanti
the right back. He's already complaining about Chip Kelly on social media.
He's not complaining. No. Chip fixed his stance.
No, he's complaining that Chip fixed his stance. Chip Kelly still can't get out of his own head. And I mean, he already ruined our trades with Sean McCoy for DeMarco Murray.
And look what it did. It won the Eagles a Super Bowl. Those players weren't supposed to be here anyway. The drama behind it was all BS from the beginning. We know that now. They stink. They always have. They always said that they were better than they really were in their career years when Chip Kelly was here. They stunk. They were never going to win a Super Bowl. I'm so tired of hearing that.
No, I remember I was on a cruise ship the day that got announced. And I'm sitting at the sports bar on the cruise ship, and Chip Kelly introduced as the Eagles head coach. I'm like, I looked around the bar. I was the only Eagles fan. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. And every other person at that bar just started laughing and pointing at me. Because everybody knew, from all football walks of life, knew that was going to be a bad idea.
Yeah, but see, and I'm seeing some of the comments here too. You think Brian Schottenheimer is a better idea than hiring Chip Kelly as your head coach again in the NFL? True. You're crazy. Everybody fails in the NFL. Adam Gase, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick the first time. Like, everyone fucking fails. It's just like the NFL wasn't ready for a lot of that stuff, and he ditched the speed crap a long time ago. Now we're getting off track. You see what happens? I'm so sorry.
Party on Broad saying he drank the Chip Kool-Aid. Wasn't that the Gus Bradley year too? I was on the Gus. Wasn't it the Gus bus? I was on the Gus bus, and he failed too. So
he's failed even who I wanted now. Over him. Yeah. Dan Quinn's back. Too. And by the way, to your point earlier, because I heard you. Why do you think the Commanders are going to be a rival? This is done after this year, brother. They're going to go right back into the basement.
I do not buy.
They are missing the playoffs. Yes.
What kind of bet can we put live on the air? They are not missing the
whatever
playoffs.
You want. They will miss the playoffs. They're going to be down with Dallas. They are the bottom two. They did the stupidest Josh Harris team building thing that they always do, which they say, we're ready. This kid's ready. And in your life, have you ever seen Cliff Kingsbury go from this level to this level? No! It's a mirage. They don't know that half of their games were won by luck. Speaking of the Chicago Bears, that's a loss. If the difference between you and the best team in the NFL is 55 points to 23 garbage points, and you're saying we're that close, then you go sign a bunch of 30-year-old guys that have injury history and trust your offensive coordinator? Jesus, they are going to crash and burn. This isn't about what talent that they have. They're a talented group of football players. Josh Harris can't build a winner. He never has. And he's got a bunch of guys that have never done it either. Like, you
make a compelling argument there, because I agree with pretty much everyone. But this comment here from Rick, Jaden Daniels is taking it. This is why most people think that they're going to stink this year. Jaden Daniels taking a step back. And I don't think he takes it. Everyone's assuming he will because, the dude, C.J. Stroud from Houston took a step back. Doesn't necessarily, nobody's saying Bo Nix is taking a step back. No one's saying that the other rookies from last year are going to take a step back. Oh, you are? Okay. Yes, you said something that they got lucky in that Bears game. Every team gets lucky. The Falcons got lucky.
Not like that.
Too. The Falcons got lucky for Saquon Barkley dropping a pass at the end of a football game. The Commanders got lucky. When was that? Was it last year or 2 years ago when Devontae Smith dropped that pass over the middle of the field that would have won the game? Every team gets lucky every single year. And yes, Josh Harris cannot build a winner. Josh Harris signed a lot of old people, but we're not talking about winning the Super Bowl. All I said when I said that was battling it out for the division supremacy. That's all I said. That's all I said about
it. There's the supremacy has been won, even if the Eagles don't win the division this year, whatever.
All I know is the Commanders will make the playoffs. There's no doubt in my mind.
9 wins, dude. That's it. 9, and they're fighting for a wild card.
Wow.
Like no, that's what I mean, Duck. They didn't invest in their O-line. They
invested the wrong way. They did the typical Josh Harris thing, brought in older stars.
Laramie Tunsil, and you paid so much for him. Yeah. Why would the Houston Texans, who need the most offensive line help, to help anchor that and repair it, why would they trade the best piece away?
They traded away multiple parts. They got rid of. We got one of their washed up. They literally got rid of 60% of their offensive line this offseason for some reason. Texas.
I hear the resistance. Just remember that we had this conversation in May.
I'm gonna bookmark this conversation. There's no way. Just so you know, you might not know this about me, but I will admit my mistakes. I'm the only guy out there that does this that will proudly brag about their misses. So if I'm wrong, I'll proudly brag that I'm wrong on this. But I think the Eagles and the Commanders battle for the East each of the next 4 years. Next 4 years, give it 2-2 in the division. I'm not saying they're going to win the playoffs, the Commanders, but the Commanders are going to. I will say this: the Commanders fans have gotten a little bit more obnoxious than Cowboys fans at this point.
Oh yeah,
with all their things and all. And I was getting killed by Commanders fans yesterday because of the whole tush push thing. Because I guess Jaden Daniels had a really high percentage of fourth down conversions last year, not doing the tush push, but that's another subject right there. Yeah, exactly. All right, so are you happy with the Eagles at this point? We're talking to John Barchard, guys, by the way. Make sure you guys are following him. He does a lot of great stuff, obviously. Formerly on the radio. You've got your own podcast going, and you do help a lot of content creators growing their networks and stuff like that. Are you happy with the Eagles at this point?
Yeah, like I think they just, it's probably just that I don't believe you can be this good every offseason. It's the only reason I'm kind of like backing off of. I don't think they hit everybody in this draft class again.
Right.
But then, you start re-looking at a lot of the film of all the guys that they did draft. And like, I was a huge APR fan in this process. I didn't expect him to be like a 7th round pick. I was like, geez, that's a 4th, 5th round talent at least. So, I mean, they have done what they've always done in the past 3 draft classes where they're betting on athletes, they're betting on Stoutland, and more importantly, I think we can say this now, they're betting on Vic. Like, Vic, to me, is the new Chip Kelly on that side of plug and play. Like, I know Zach Bond deserves every part of that money. Everybody that they paid this offseason, absolutely, and it's a huge year for Jordan Davis, and we all know that. That guy can put you and see where you need to be in his defense because it's his. Like, the difference between Jonathan Gannon and Vic Fangio is Jonathan Gannon's not a creator, he's a repeater. And that's the difference. You can tell it right away. And to me, that's going to be the continuous shining star. And we're going to debate this every single year of like, what is really the Eagles engine? Is it the defense? Is it this humongously powerful offense? Like, that's a great place to be, just because I love him. And speaking of like USC and this whole conversation having a nice cherry on top, like, I've always been a humongous fan of Adoree Jackson. Okay. I'm not expecting much of anything, but if he's going to do something great with the right defensive coordinator, this is his guy. His career track has always been odd, and granted, he's not the player I thought he was. But in terms of like punt return skill and all that other different stuff, I think you can do some incredibly cool coverages with this group of DBs now that you have Cooper, and especially, man, the first 2 picks of this Eagles draft class has me so excited for the amount of range. Like, I believe that this defense is going to take a humongous step forward because of those 2 guys. The range on those guys, they might as well practically be playing the same position. Like, linebackers are safeties, safeties are linebackers. And I think you're going to see some crazy shit this year that allows them to kind of do some exotic blitzing and at the right time.
Duck is upset that you're making him defend the Commanders too. So gotta let you know that.
Buddy.
Real quick before I let you go, because I am fascinated with a part of Philadelphia that you were a part of at one point, the media, the sports media, the radio business, and I'm fascinated with how it's evolved. I don't want to say declining. Evolving is the word I like to use.
I'll say decline.
It's definitely declining. Look, I want to phrase this question in a different way. Obviously, any sports fan in Philadelphia growing up, anybody that's now turned into a podcast or a YouTuber, their dream was always someday to be on the radio. But I almost at this point in time feel like that's not the way to go. It's evolved so much that being a part of the radio business isn't what it used to be. And it's changed a lot. And I would just love a quick thought on you on how it's evolved, how it's declined, how it's turned to shit, if you want to say that, and why it's turned like that.
Honestly, like, I want to say this both about radio and television. As a medium, they're fucking amazing. It's the people that have created this infinite monopoly on both of those mediums and haven't really allowed anybody in, right? And that was one of the things in my entire radio career. It didn't really matter where it was, Philadelphia, LA, Chicago, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Like, all of my colleagues kept pushing all the stuff that you saw me do. The reason why BGN Radio existed, the reason why all those other podcasts existed is because of that. It's just like, you know, back in the day, you had to literally travel to a different market. And I was thankful that I went to school at Iowa because it's market, who gives a fuck, right? And you can just cut your teeth and learn how to be a proper host there. And that was my path. And now you don't have to do that, right? Small market, that same feeling is exactly what we've been doing for years. Just like making a podcast to cut our teeth, and then eventually somebody will notice and we'll get those platforms. Unfortunately, right now and through COVID, and this is just something I've been preaching for a very long time now, all of us, you, me, the people watching this that want to do this stuff, we are all entrepreneurs now. Because the business model is also the biggest problem. Is first, you're not allowing new talent to come in for whatever reason, and secondly, you don't know how to develop something that needs to be a product now. Because, like, I don't know about you, I don't listen or watch anything with an ad in it. YouTube, get it out. There are better ways to market this stuff. And like radio and television doesn't understand that they need to start making products or services to market through all of these things to sustain the business and stop relying on marketing money, because no one's listening or watching you. You know, like, that dried up. You are no longer the center of attention. Center of attention can be made in 15 seconds, 15 minutes, 15 years now. So I just think that and honestly, like, we do not need to be in studios anymore. We do not need to have 4-hour shows. The fact that TV and radio just aren't one entity now, like locally here, why isn't NBC and ABC and CBS just running sports radio and talk programming pretty much? Because that's what daytime television is anyway. It's just talk shows or game shows or stuff like that. So, one, I think if that problem ever were to get fixed, that were to happen. And thirdly, we're in a different type of FCC climate, in my opinion. I don't know how you can say that radio and television is the center of public broadcasting anymore, because it's not. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, and it's a bunch of other different places. So if you actually drop or severely change the FCC rules so we can say shit at 6 p.m. on, I think that would be very helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got radio and television lost its opportunity to be dangerous again in terms of whatever that means. And that's the biggest problem, because you can turn on TikTok and yell and curse and scream and
say whatever you want.
And
you can say whatever you want here.
You can say, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wasn't tracking it today, but I normally track guest cuss words and kind of forgot to start the tracking today, but you know.
But that's the biggest thing, and out of all of this, like, and I would even tell you this in person, like, you should develop I tell you this all the time. You have a business, and I think you should incorporate it into the show more, because you love doing both things. You know what I'm saying? Bam, right there.
I always got the menu of the advertisement's right there. Always sits back there. I promote that as much as I can. A couple of these guys that watch regularly are customers of mine. So
good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Absolutely.
And keep supporting Phil that way, please. That's like that's the lifeblood.
This does not pay the bills. That's why I always say, joining me on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, John Barchard. This pays the bills. This does not pay the bills. So.
Well, and this is a perfect situation, Phil, because like so I got really inspired this offseason, and I started writing a book. Wow. But one of the chapters in that book is your pizza place is now a content studio, right? Yeah. Because locally radio would always do these remotes and do all this stuff anyway, and there would be money exchanging hands and blah blah blah. But now, and I'm doing a literal example of this. So I haven't told anybody this. I'm telling you for the first time.
Breaking news right here on the show.
I'm making a barbecue business that has an Eagles show in it. That's also a brick and mortar location. That's also a traveling tailgate food truck. So
Wow.
like
Hold
all
on.
of
Break that down again. That was a lot of things right there. Hold on a second. A tailgate, a barbecue. Hold on. Yeah, that was a lot of
no, it's
things right
fine.
there.
So like this all started from the idea of like I don't think everyone there are so many Eagles fans across the U.S. that I've connected with that I got inspired as like I just want to throw them a tailgate if they're not coming to Philly. That was like the
Right.
original idea, and that developed into well, hey, why don't we just do a mobile barbecue business where the Eagles podcast lives with the mobile barbecue business,
There you go.
and we just go talk to Eagles fans, and that's kind of the developing of the show. But it turns out, and this is why I want to in people in your position. I guarantee you somebody locally is looking for the same thing. So I went about 10 minutes from me, and there is this gorgeous shopping center, like a food court type area, that is just looking for interesting vendors.
Right.
And so we're going. Well, wait a minute. You're telling us we can have a brick and mortar location. We can set up our cameras here and basically have a studio. We can talk birds. I'm going to show everybody how to barbecue brisket and ribs every month with my guy Chris Apple. We're going to bring all these different people in and start a community, and then take this thing back and forth from Philly to have like a big tailgate experience while talking about the birds. So I know it might all sound complicated, and it does when I'm talking about it. But when you see this, I think you'll understand. And that's how I need people to start thinking and operating, because business owners are willing to give you a slice of their business right now. If you can do these things, if you can gather people, if you have interesting content, stop taking ad money. Stop it. I know this sounds ridiculous. This show is going to own 3 separate companies before we even do one episode. And back in the day, I think that's the other thing that has flipped too. As creators, as artists, we have been like, I've got to go make this thing. I've got to go build up the show and the audience. And Gary Vee is one of the proponents of telling you this. And if you don't know where your content is supposed to go or land, it doesn't fucking matter. You're going to burn yourself out before you find the money. Find the money first, then launch the show. That's how we have to do it now. We're not
I like that.
The brands will come around, but you'll have more control. And that's the last thing I'll tell you, Phil, because I'm on a rant here. I love this.
Yeah. No,
Don't.
that's all we do is rant on this show all day long.
Do not trust marketing companies, especially ones that are giving you brand deals. They're against you. Okay. Like, you have to have the power over the marketing company and all the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day nets that your audience probably doesn't understand. It takes you that long just to get paid half of the amount of what was agreed 6 months ago. Like, they try to make us beg for the money, and I am tired of doing that. And I think you should be too.
Dude, let me tell you something. I've learned plenty of mistakes. Like, when I opened my restaurant, I was 26 years old. I thought I knew the world. And I would say, they always say most restaurants fail in their first year, 3 years, 5 years. Mine almost failed, not because of the business, not because of the product, because I made so many bad marketing decisions that I wasted so much money on. That put me behind the 8 ball. And it took me taking a step back, spending less money on really bad ideas that I fell for, to reset. And then now, I've been in business 17 years now. So,
well, and see, Phil, that's a perfect example, man. And I'm so proud of you for digging yourself out of that too, because it's like
it's my wife and I always said, if we were not as strong mentally, because my wife and I work side by side every day in our restaurant. We're hands-on owners. If we didn't have that mental fortitude, most people would have closed if they went through what we went through for the first 3 to 5 years. Most of them would close. Those days in year 2 where I did $80 in sales because I didn't have any money left, because I wasted all the money in the first year. That's you have to have that, that strong mind to get through those struggles.
100%. And think of it now. If I came to you 17 years ago with this exact same concept that I said, and I said, "Hey, Phil, I'm not going to charge you any money. I need you to give me space for a barbecue business."
Right.
And I see some people in the chats asking if there's going to be beer there. Yes, because this is what's great. It's like the Chamonix Creek beer is there. They have a little brewery there. Yeah. And there's a taco place right next to us. And I'm bringing in these guys, the Two Moods Vodka Seltzer, who we'll get to later, but they're awesome. They're from Conchi. They're local. It's fantastic. Like, all of these things work together. The other thing that I wrote in the book, and I promise you this is for everybody too. 60 million people left corporate America in the last 5 years. You know how large of a fucking number that is? 60 million. And I'm talking Facebook, Nike, all that. And they ended up in the suburbs. Everybody left the cities and they went to the suburbs. So like there's a 5-to-1 chance in your town of 2,200 that there are 400 creators there waiting for businesses to do exactly what they're like. I have never seen a time more powerful for content creators, small businesses, all working together. Yep. Like you can own the town, guys. Not kidding. Because I wouldn't tell you if it's not happening right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I love that. And you'll have to send me the address later off the air. And, once you're open, I'm going to have to come on out there and check that out because
Father's Day, soft opening, June 15th. I'll tell everybody where it's at.
This is breaking news that it's soon. This is not something that's just started out. Like you're ready to roll.
Yeah. And
hold on. You're talking barbecue. Are you the barbecue expert or do you have a chef to do that?
Chris Apple is his name. He goes by White Bulls Barbecue. He's on Instagram there.
I think I've heard of him.
He's got a great following, and we have done some test runs already. So like Me Too Moods and Chris all did some events over the spring, and we're like, fellas, this can work.
I like it.
So
I think you've got the right idea. If I had to do it all over again 17 years ago, I would have gone more that route than having a standalone pizza shop and that's it, where all my investment is in my building and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I would have branched out more now I'm burned out. Now I'm tired. So,
right.
I'm not.
That's what I'm saying, because how much of you would you have done if you said, I'm going to give you a piece of the show, because that's what we're doing with our partners. Yeah. Because this is how people don't think too. When those brand deals come in, that's your investment money. If you tell a brand right now, this just happened too. This is really for you, Phil. If a brand gives you $1,000, turn around and say, what kind of ROI would you like on that? I can give you a 5% return. Mm-hmm. No one in the history of marketing dollars is doing this. And if you do this now, companies are going to fawn all over you. One big one that I'll tell you about later just did it with us. So it's just like, you have to start thinking in terms of entrepreneurship. The days of getting that Pat McAfee check was it. That was the last one. And it's the wrong bet for everybody.
He literally took all the money. Yes. So there is no money left because he is literally taking it off from it. He's literally ruined it for every other person out there.
Yeah, it's done. Like no one will get that deal ever again. And by the way, Pat McAfee's got maybe a year left before he leaves. That's my take. There's no way that guy is staying around. No way.
Yeah. That's interesting. All right. Well, I've taken up a lot of your time today, and everybody's reminding me in the chat. Every first-time guest on this show has to answer one simple question, okay? Sometimes it's a one-word answer. Sometimes it goes on a 30-minute rant. I don't know what your time is. That's up to you here, how you answer this question. You can only watch one movie for the rest of your life, and it has to be either Goodfellas or Godfather. One or the other, and that is it. Which one are you taking?
Guess what?
I did not come up with it. We call the regulars in the chat the Core 12. The Core 12 came up with this, and there's more than 12 people in the Core 12 now. But the Core 12 needs to know on every guest, is it Godfather or Goodfellas? Floor is yours.
I've only seen Goodfellas.
Hold on, what? You talking to my wife? Because I was watching Godfather the other day, and my wife's like, I really never sat and watched this entire movie straight through. I'm like, how have we been married for 17 years or 18 years and you've never watched this with me?
Sounds crazy. It has never appealed to me.
What?
Because and the reason why is because I already know this. Like, it's been told so many times that I have no desire to see it because I know the movie, even though the movie's brilliant and I know when I watch it, it's going to be brilliant. It's just like the Beatles, right? Like, I can't listen to a Beatles record anymore. I turn it off instantly. It's just like, I get
the most overrated band in the history of music?
The most overrated band in the history of music, yes.
That's my if you want a hot take from me, that's my hot take right there.
What are the other core movies, out of curiosity?
They're the only two movies I'm ever allowed to ask.
Okay.
They don't care about any other movie when I ask the question. That is the question I have to ask. That's it. Others, I did not know this about Nooms. He says he's never seen it either. Until he was 40.
40, and I'm right about there. Like, I just started The Sopranos.
Oh wow!
I just started because the same thing, Everybody
I know
told
my
me a
name
story
doesn't show
already.
up, but I'm an Italian, okay? My name doesn't sound Italian, but I have more Italian heritage than anything else, and it's kind of like a rite of passage for us Italians. You know, just like having the mafia in the Novacare complex with Nick Sirianni, with Kevin Patullo, with Big Dom. I mean, you know, we're all connected. We're all paisans, you know? So it's kind of like a requirement in life to watch those movies.
Yeah. We've never seen Back to the Future. That would be I would kind of line that up. My two core movies would be that. It's just like, would you rather watch Back to the Future or Breakfast Club? And then I judge you on that.
Back to the Future easily. I hate the Breakfast Club. I think I do need to change that question though, because the question came up last week on this show. If you had to watch a movie, any movie, again for the first time, what movie would that be? Without knowing what would happen. I came up. I'm not a sci-fi guy, but I always said The Lord of the Rings I would like to rewatch for the first time.
The Usual Suspects, because it got ruined for me the first time I watched it. I wish I could have seen that and just been surprised. Yeah, it's just like, turns out guys associate the crimple, like 5 minutes before they turn the movie on. Like, that's the whole movie. No, I love that one, though. What about you?
Lord of the Rings would be the one I want to watch for the first time. I don't know why. So I didn't know when I went to Side Story, when I saw Lord of the Rings for the first time, the girl I was dating in college, she took me, we were hanging out, and she's like, my little brother wants to go see this Lord movie. Don't know what it is, but you want to go with us? I'm like, all right, I'll go, whatever. I'm looking at my watch, 2.5 hours in the movie. I'm like, this is kind of cool, but how are they going to wrap this story up in 30 minutes? Like, I know I didn't know it was a trilogy, and that was it. And then the movie ends with them walking. I'm like, what the F did I just watch? And she's like, you can't cuss in front of my little brother. Like, okay, my bad.
Okay, so Phil didn't read the books. Confirmed.
I never read the books. I don't know how to read. I just put these comments up. I don't even know what they say half the time. I can't read. Yes, Rick, we will agree on that. All right, so this is the greatest movie of all time, honestly. Yes, absolutely.
I've never seen The Replacements. Sorry!
Well, yeah. No, greatest football movie of all time right there. No doubt about it. Anyway, John, I know we played a little phone tag, and I know we played a little cat and mouse. I greatly appreciate you coming on and spending a half hour of your time this morning with me.
Of course, man. Anytime. Oh, well, I shouldn't say anytime because that's the point of the phone tag.
Dude,
but yes.
Like I said, I told you in the chat, this is a lot of fun. I do this every single day. And I do it because of the people that come in here and want to chat with me every single day. It means a lot. But it is very hard to get guests on here because most people have day jobs. It's very hard to find people to come on in the morning. That's why I'm so patient with people. You know what I mean? And, whatever. If I can get a different perspective, a different personality on here, I'm very patient with it.
Oh yeah, man. I love. To be honest, I've wanted to do mornings ever since my daughter was born. So it's just I'm up at 4 a.m. every day. I appreciate a show being here in the morning because I can't do the guest interviews at night anymore. I'm asleep at 7.
There you go. I tell a lot of people that this show saved me because when I started this show about 4 years ago, COVID, the pizza shop, the struggles, the stress that I was going through, doing a regular thing like this gave me a motivation to get up in the morning, gave me something to do, gave me a little creative freedom outside the pizza shop. So this show saved me. And everybody wants to do a morning show. And even one of my regulars is saying now on social media that they want to start a morning show. I'm like, no, you can't compete with me. But it really, truly saved me, mentally doing this show.
Yes. Phil, do the show in the pizza shop. I'm telling you, please.
Not in the morning. I can't do the morning show in the pizza shop.
Not in the
morning.
I'm
not getting to my pizza shop at 8 o'clock in the morning. I already spend too many hours there a day.
Just turn your phone on for an hour while it's going on. Change your life. I promise.
Yeah, I wonder who that was, Mitchie Poo. Yeah. See, Mitchie Poo doesn't comment. But when I make a joke that he knows it's about him, it's like say his name and he appears. He just pops up. It's like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. Mitchie Poo just shows up whenever he needs to. Hey, John. I've taken up way too much of your time this morning. Thank you so much.
No, you're good, man. I really appreciate it, Phil. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Todd. Guys, that was John Barchard. That was one of the best interviews we've had here in a while. I greatly appreciate his time. Hey, we gained a new subscriber out of it, too. How about that? Thank you very much, Adam. Guys, that was a lot of fun. Anything you guys got? We've got 20 minutes left in the show. Whatever you guys want to talk about, however you want to. Oh, actually, no, I got some messages here. They're not important. I'm waiting on some people to come pick some stuff up this morning. There's a lot that's been said in the chat. I tried to keep up with it. I did my best. Knicks Pacers, is it game 1 tonight? Mitchie Poo, I would say Knicks being at home would be the play tonight if you're going to gamble on the game. I'm rooting for the Pacers. I'm rooting for TJ McConnell, but that is a very tough matchup for the Pacers. We'll just say it that way. How do I like it? I feel like I kind of got to still put the comments up like this. And with where it's at, they haven't given you the option to move the side screen. It's blocking the logo. So I want to be able to move it up or to another side, or I've got to redo my overlays so it's not blocking the logo right there. My dad was too busy selling cars. Yeah. Not gonna, no comment. Let's go TJ McConnell. Absolutely. Gummies, always. Is he a Bears fan or an Eagles fan? Who? Pacers have serious depth on that bench. They do. Look, I will be rooting for them for one thing and one thing only, for TJ McConnell. And then also because I hate the Knicks. That's the other reason why I'm rooting for the Pacers. Because I hate the Knicks. And who doesn't hate the Knicks? Pacers' pace really is too much for a no-bench team like the Knicks. That will be the downfall of the Knicks, is the fact that they run their starters into the ground. That Tom Thibodeau doesn't know how to play a bench. Not that he doesn't have a bench, that he doesn't know how to use his bench. That will always be their big issue right there. All four teams first championship. Yeah, maybe. John what? John what? John what, Adam? Only Knicks 50 plus years ago. Yeah, so the Knicks aren't a first time championship. They definitely won one before. Gummies and smoke. And so, yeah. Look, you guys can have that chat in the chat. I do not disclose what and how and everything that I do. That I keep private. That I keep personal. But guys, we got 19 likes on this video so far. We've gained one new subscriber. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Phil Illuminati is not a 98% Italian. I'm 50% Italian, about 45% German, and a 5% of whatever other mutt stuff that my dad had mixed into him right there. Why go to an Italian restaurant for meatballs when you can go to Coors Field? I saw that. I didn't get that. Is there meatballs there? I don't know. I saw that comment before. Shameless plug time from Chet from Philly Press Box Radio tonight. I love Neil Hartman. When I was in college, my freshman year of college, I was a communications major, and Neil Hartman came and spoke to my college. Now, I know he is a teacher now. Tonight, 7 p.m., right here on this channel. Neil Hartman. Love me some Neil Hartman. Love Neil Hartman. Underrated legend in Philly in the old days of Comcast Sportsnet. Legend. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I would say I'm not really an ale is just kind of a basic drink. I like my lagers, in the wintertime. I like my IPAs. I think I'll go ales are for summertime, lagers are for wintertime, and IPAs are just the best in the world. But I'll go lagers over ales. Big picture. Yeah, I'm not a Delta 8 guy at all. Is John a Bears or Eagles? Oh, John is an Eagles fan. John Barchard's an Eagles fan. I would start an Eagles football show, but I'm so handsome women would be sexually. Is that right? I didn't like Delta 9 either. Delta 9 gave me weird chest pains. I ain't gonna lie. There were more Phillies fans at Coors Field than Rockies fans. There were. That's why. But that's what Kyle Schwarber, the National League MVP, said when he hit his 300th home run a couple games ago. Phil Hartman. Yeah, not that Phil Hartman. Neil Hartman. Did I say Phil Hartman? It's Neil Hartman. Kevin Long is a phenomenal hitter. I don't know about that. He has definitely. Obviously, they've turned it around a little bit, but I wouldn't say a phenomenal hitting coach. IPA's rule, absolutely IPA's rule. Again, I don't know. What's the most recent one I had? I had a Cape May Nitro. We went out to dinner last week, I think on Monday, and they had I like Cape May's IPA, but they had a Cape May IPA Nitro, and I never had a Nitro IPA before. It was actually kind of interesting. I don't even know how to describe what I felt on it and all. You can at least get ad money. Yeah, exactly. Listen to John Barchard. He'll tell you how. Yes, we gained one more subscriber today. That's right. Cool weather today for May. Oh, it's going to be so cold for May today and tomorrow. 16 likes. Last I checked, we have 19 likes on this video. My screen shows 19 likes, but maybe it's 16. Why is Hurts trending? Is Hurts trending right now? I don't know. Let me refresh Twitter right now and see what's up. Probably because of the tush push, because that vote is coming very soon. It's coming very soon. There is weed beer. Yeah, I've tried it. I think it's disgusting, honestly. I think you know this, but I'm not an IPA guy. Chet is a big beer. If you guys aren't following Chet on social media, and you and Rick, Chet, you and Rick need to connect because he does a birds and beer show. You guys got to connect to talk beer, for sure. I love all your posts of all the bars and beer gardens and places you go with all your beer takes and all. I wish I tracked what beers I liked better. It would be something to so I could talk about them better. But yeah, I love my IPAs. I do. The hoppier, although I will say this, as sick as I am, a hoppy beer would destroy me right now. The roars on the road seem to be getting louder. They are. And I bet you pretty soon, with the way the Phillies are playing, the fact that they're 30-18, that park is going to get loud pretty quick. Yeah, I see 19, 20 likes right now in this video. Ask Schwarber and Soto who their best hitting coach was. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, he's been here for 4 years, and he's just finally having success. I guess it took him 4 years to gain some traction here in Philly. Wasted career Hurts is trending because of NFL allowing players to play flag football. It's that, and it's the tush push. And again, A.J. Brown said he will not be playing in the Olympics. Why? Because he doesn't want to deal with the fans and the media talking about it while he should be in training camp, because the Olympics will be happening, he said, during camp. So he will not be. He wants to keep the main. I love A.J. Brown's little subtle comment about Jalen Hurts. I'm surprised no one's making a big deal about this. A.J. Brown said he's not going to participate in the Olympics because he wants to keep the main thing. And I think that's kind of like a little inside joke to Jalen Hurts. Like, I got you on that one. And no one's talking about it. Mitchie Pooh is the Joe Hendry. He is. Boston Lager original. I am not a Sam Adams fan. Juan Soto overrated. Is he? Maybe not. I'm not sure. Got to give him a little bit more time with that big contract. That would be pretty cool, though. That would be. I want to keep the main thing. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever. I would just deal with the celiac disease. I don't think I could do without beer. There's certain things, if I had to go gluten-free, that I'd say screw it and just take it, just ingest it anyway and deal with the consequences, beer being one of them. If I become a celebrity, I have to quit my job. Then it would be a job instead of a hobby. There you go. I like that. That is true. That's why this is a hobby and not a job. That's why I still wake up. No matter how sick I am every morning, I'm here with you guys. Why? Because why not? Best beers in Philly, there's so many. It's two. We don't have 3 hours to go into it. Josh Allen's wasted career. But the sweet ad money is untapped. Yeah, that's true. That is true. For sure. And I want to shout out. Me and John have been going back and forth trying to lock this interview in for a while there. So, it was really great to have him on finally. Phillies won 9 of 10 road games, outscoring opponents 61-29. Phillies have 110 hits in those 10 games, plus 32 different. I know all the stats. I know. And 10 games, does that make up for 3 bad years? I don't know. They're 17-5 in their last 22. Tired hands. Have not heard of that one. Pretty much everyone you've mentioned before I've heard of, not tried all, but heard of. Never heard of tired hands before. We need a trending in the AM beer. Oh, get me a beer. Who knows somebody that could brew me a beer? I was thinking of finding like a partnership with a beer or coffee company since I do the show in the morning. But shit, I'll drink beer in the morning instead of coffee. Why not? I just might not make it to the pizza shop. I shut the Phillies off to say, look, I was so sick last night. There was no way I was staying awake late last night. I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock when I finally passed out last night. That'd be fire. Trending in the AM beer. It would be kind of cool. I like a Yingling on the regular, but a Kensington is pretty good too. Yeah, Kensington's okay. I'll take a Yingling over Kensington. Offense has been great for 4 years. It's been inconsistently great. No coffee sponsors. Looking at the quarter. Look, I'm telling you guys, it's hard for me to judge because I'm sick as a hell right now. But today marks week 2 of the mushroom coffee. Okay? I've had mushroom coffee every day since last Wednesday. It actually helps. And I don't know if Peanut's still listening in the background. Peanut uses the same brand, the Cuppa mushroom coffee. Anybody knows somebody at Cuppa? I think an arrangement should be made between us. This is good. All the things it says it helps you with, anxiety, stress, the jitters, your stomach. I'm telling you. This is it right here. Mushroom coffee is the thing. Who is your the favorite for next MVP? Schwarber or Hurts? Schwarber, and then Hurts after that. Last night was the first Phillies game I watched all the way through. That's a good game to watch last night. Chat, best Philly beer. I don't know. 21 likes. Hey, we're just pounding away at this here. I couldn't get a break until now. Hopefully tomorrow I can, fingers crossed. Hey, make sure you catch the replay of it, Barb. We had a great guest, John Barchard, formerly of WIP. He does his own thing. It was a very fun, entertaining 30-minute stretch with John Barchard on the show. I don't know if you remember him from his WIP days. It's literally coffee made from ground-up mushrooms, yes. Brick Farm Tavern in Hopewell for Troon Brewing. Okay. Got to remember, I'm down here in southern Chester County. Being a heartthrob isn't all it's cracked up to be. No, it's not. The mushroom coffee is why you're sick. Come back to the fold. No, it's not. It's because my delivery driver, Claire, if you're listening, came to work sick. No, I'm not blaming her, but she did get me and my wife sick. Where would I be able to acquire said mushroom coffee? I'll send you a link to where we got it from, Rick, later today, okay? Or hit me up on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Facebook, and I'll send you the link so I don't forget. Knicks versus OKC is finals. I'd have to watch every game. Phil, say WNBC. WNBC. Prediction for tonight's game. Phillies game tonight. We got Taiwan Walker on the mound. I know that. Let me check who's pitching for the Rockies. Doesn't matter. They've got 8 wins on the season. The guy pitching for the Rockies tonight on ESPN.com does not even have a profile picture. All right, he's pitched 4 innings this year. He's got 11.25 ERA, 6 hits. Carson Palmquist does not even have a profile picture. So the Phillies win tonight, 9-1. Well, better a heartthrob. I'm usually call Angie to the exactly. Me too. 526. Look at this. We just keep climbing and climbing here today. Look at that. Give it a month. The human brain will eventually adapt. Make sure it's not the placebo effect. Yep. I know it was Claire, but come back to bean juice. Now, look, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the feeling. If it helps me cut back on the drinking and the weed smoking and everything else, I'm all for it. And I just don't want to fully make my judgment on it till I have a week of it without being sick. Warwick Brewing, I've heard of it, so maybe. My problem, Rick, is I don't track what I've had enough. So unless I'm holding it in my hand and see the logo, I don't necessarily know, based off of the names right there. Guys, we're going to get ready to wrap this show up. I got some people picking some stuff up from the Facebook Marketplace. I got to get to work. Adam says 9-2 tonight. There we go. I got 9-1 Phillies win tonight. And I know I said the Knicks will probably win tonight, but I'm going to root for the Pacers tonight. I'm going to say Pacers win tonight. Why not? Get the upset. I had it, and then I just always forgot to use it. But maybe I should go back to re-downloading it and reusing it again, because I used it for like a month and then only opened it like twice in the month. Pacers in 6. We used to say Sixers, hashtag Sixers in 6. Let's go Pacers in 6 then, right? If you wake up super early and work out before the show, that will have a better impact than caffeine. Yeah, dude, I already get up at 6:30 every morning. I can't get up at 5 a.m. to add a workout in there too. I just couldn't do it. Make sure you look at all the factors and make sure it's not other factors. What it is. I got to look at the whole picture, not just a small little thing. And, some people say the mushroom coffee takes a good 2 to 4 weeks to really show the effects. I'm feeling a little different after a week, but I'm going to give it a month. I mean, my wife bought it, goddamn massive amount of it. So I got time to give it. I'm at almost 13,000 beer check-ins on wow. 1-800 Alcoholics Anonymous is, no, I'm just kidding with you. Pacers in 5. Pacers in 6. There we go. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We'll be back tomorrow. We will know tomorrow whether the tush push is banned or not. John Barchard said no, it's not going to happen. I say yes, it will happen. We will find out tomorrow. Get microdose mushroom. It cures everything from depression to anxiety. Well, this is already helping, but we'll talk about it off the air for sure. You have a great day as well, Adam. I guess John Barchard's really pushing for me to do some live shows from the pizza shop, so maybe that'll happen. I got 2 people coming to pick up things that I have for sale in the marketplace. I got to get that done before I go to work. So, unfortunately, that's paying bills. This does not. But anyway, guys, yeah, it was a great show. I want to again thank John Barchard for his time today. Did a great job. Always been a fan of his. Always been a fan. I meant to get to it. We never got to it. He does some of the greatest Eagles hype videos out there. And we're gonna have to do a Trending in the AM field trip to John Barchard's barbecue joint when it opens up soon. Anyway, guys, with that being said, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends and family. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you continue to like, subscribe, share. We'll be back tomorrow morning. K-Watt, if you're still there, I forgot. If you missed last night's Fairway to Heaven, Christian Bazudenhout is going to win this week's Charles Schwab Challenge. I've seen this before. This might be in my mushroom coffee, actually. I've seen that word before. Anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye today. Everybody have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow talking tush push Phillies and whatever else. I have seen this word. I think it's in the ingredient list of the mushroom coffee. Everybody have a great day. Go Birds! Bubbles up.